Hey guys, it's Shalane, and today I'm going to be talking to you about what made Fisher's Losing It so successful. We're going to be going over and sort of reverse engineering different things about this track that all lined up to make it what it was. You know, this is one of the biggest electronic songs of the past 10 years. Definitely in terms of like dance music, not just like maybe mainstream electronic music, but in terms of dance music and tracks that did really well in the club. I mean, this is just like, this will be remembered as one of the biggest tracks of this decade. And today, like I said, I'm going to be breaking down and reverse engineering a few things about it that led up to that and allowed it to become such a big thing. And yeah, I think this is just a really useful way of getting to understand how this stuff works. It's like, you know, you don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. It's easier to kind of go and reverse engineer things and kind of understand and see consistencies between different things too. Like, I made a similar video about this with Charlotte DeWitt's remix of Space Raiders, which was a really, really big techno track in the past year or so. And there are a lot of things that I noticed when I was making this and when I was, getting to understand this track that are consistent with things that also made Space Raiders really popular. So it's like stuff like that. You kind of start to see the patterns here, and it allows you to make something on your own that could potentially, do really well like this, or at least just be a really solid track, because there's no denying that this is a really, really well-produced track. And so to go along with this video, I actually just dropped a remix of Losing It. If you guys want to check that out, definitely go check it out. Link is in the description. It's right at the top of the description. You can't miss it. It's a free download. Just premiered on Finger 86. It's like a hard acid techno remix of Losing It. Really dope. Really different from what you're expecting, I would imagine. So go check that out. And also, if you guys want to support me, the link is in the description for my Bandcamp, where you can find my sample packs. There's a bunch of great stuff on there. It's all like $5 or $10. So if you want to support me, don't really make a whole lot of money off of this video, would be a great way to do that. And yeah, let's get started. So the first thing about Losing It that is undeniable, that I think makes it work in any circumstance, any situation, you can always just dance to this track, is the simplicity. This track really does not have that many elements. If you think about it, it's like the kick, the lead, the bass, the hi-hats, the snare, the effects, and the vocal sample. That's like 7 elements altogether. That's really not a lot. Like, they say a lot of times, I've been learning this especially with making techno, it's like to make a really great dance track, use no more than 10 elements. Use less than 10 elements, essentially. And they followed that here. It's only 7 or 8 things here that are really making up the overall track. But what it does is it allows you to focus more on each individual element. The approach here is less like trying to fill up the mix and trying to, always beat you over the head with something new, and more trying to get you to just really lock in with those few elements and kind of tell the story with those elements. And if you think about it, a lot of times people say, tell a story with the track. Like, try to make your track kind of like tell something and give the listener something. Well, in storytelling, you're not just going to come up with a new character every time you want to go somewhere else in the story. It's not like, you're watching a movie and it's halfway through the movie, so they're just like, oh, okay, time to add a new character that you've never seen before just because it's getting boring. That's not how it works. Instead, you try to find a way to keep telling the story and keep it going with the same characters. And so, same thing here. You think of these 7 or 8 elements as characters in a story, essentially. And then they're just kind of moving and changing dynamically throughout the track to tell that story, rather than, again, like, you're not just going to get halfway through the movie and all of a sudden a new character comes in just to make it interesting. No, movies that do that are not very good. And same thing with songs that do that. You can't have too much. You really want to keep it simple. Any good dance music is always going to be simple. So that's the first thing, is this track is just undeniably simple. The second thing this track had going for it is it was kind of riding a pre-existing wave. And I talked about this in the video where I broke down Space Raiders as well. This kind of bassy house music, kind of like tech house, like this. Just really groovy, simple, bassline focused. Had already been getting really, really popular over the past, 3 years before this track came out. That wave had already been happening. There had already been quite a few DJs that got popular making that style of stuff. There had already been, an existing fan base that wanted to hear something like this. And then they were just sort of catering to that. So that's something to think about. Instead of trying to just say, oh, I'm not going to make a genre, or, I don't believe in genres, or I'm going to make my own thing. Maybe try coming to the people a little bit. Maybe try to find a wave that's been going for the past few years. I'm not saying I wouldn't recommend to try to make something like this now. I think now it's a little bit played out. But at the time when this came out, it was really fresh. And so instead of, trying to say, oh, I'm going to take, I'm going to make something that is just 100% me, maybe they tried to say, like, okay, let's make something that's going to fit into this wave, but still sounds like me. Still sounds like, the person who's making the track. Like, you don't want to just copy stuff, but it's like, yeah, I really think there's a lot of value in that because people are more open to hear something that they already are expecting. And that's just, the undeniable truth about it. You can either deny that or you can't accept it, but it is the truth, is that people are just going to be more open to something that they already know. And so if you kind of come to them with something that they already know, but put your spin on it, it's a lot more effective than, again, just coming and saying, I don't believe in genres. Everybody has to listen to my genre of music. Like, yeah, so that's another thing. They just hit at the perfect time with this. It was just, like, couldn't have been better in terms of, like, when it came out and when this style was really popular. So the way you do this on your own is, really look around and try to find what's happening right now. Try to find, like, where the trends are going, what people are listening to, what's being played, and, try to make something, again, not just copying that, but in that vein and kind of, like, putting your own spin on that thing that people are already open to hearing. It's just like, think about it. These days, there's so much music, right? Like, there's so much music, especially dance music. So much dance music comes out every single day. And it's like, people just really want to hear what they want to hear because of that. So the truth is, you just have to kind of come to that and come to the people and not just say, everybody's got to come to me. This is the same reason why I have a YouTube channel, is because I felt like, with my production skills and with what I can do production-wise, I can't just say, oh, well, everybody's got to hit me up for ghost production. Everybody's got to hit me up because they want to learn about this stuff. No, I came to the people, and I found something that was already successful, YouTube tutorials, and then I just came in and tried to do it better than everybody else and try to put my own spin on it. Or same thing with techno, with my techno releases. Techno, I feel like, is rising right now, and so I didn't just say, oh, well, I like techno. Let me try and make this that sounds kind of like it, but it's like, out there. No, I said, I'm going to make really good big room, main room techno tracks, and I'm going to come to the people, and then I'm going to put my spin on it. And, I'm seeing some success from that. So this is what you need to try to do. The other thing with this track that I think is really important is, it is just undeniably a high-quality track. Whether it's annoying and you've heard it a million times or not, this is just a really, really well-produced track. Like, if you listen to this, like, they didn't just try to make a good tech house track. They tried to make the best possible tech house track. It is just really, really well produced. Even though it's so simple, it's just like, yeah, like, listen to, for example, okay, listen to that snare. That's not just like a standard, like, you could just get like a 909 clap or something, right? And put that and say, a lot of people say, oh, tech house, we'll just get a 909 clap. Listen to this clap. And then listen to this one. There's so much body to that, and it's so strong and so well produced. And the same thing with everything, even like the hi-hat, or the kick, or the bass line, all of this, it's like, it's the best possible version of what it can be. And that also goes with what I was saying before, it's like, they didn't just say, okay, tech house is popular, we're going to make an okay tech house track, and everybody's going to listen to it because everybody likes tech house. They said, okay, tech house is popular, so we're going to make the highest quality tech house track. It's going to be so good, and that is going to win people over. And that, combined with the catchiness, is going to be what really works. And it really works, So that's the thing. If you're going to do something that's popular, don't just do it just because it's popular. Do the best possible version of it that you can imagine and really try to make it super high quality, because in order for a track to really cross over and really be big like this, it has to be really well produced. You can't just take, like, this isn't going to happen with one of those just kind of like mediocre B-side tracks that comes out. This only happens with really, really, really great tracks. So it's kind of like you make a really, really great track, and then if you're lucky, that has the potential to get really big. So yeah, that's the other thing. Like, you just really need to keep in mind, like, you need to, if you're going to make something like this, you're going to try to make an anthem or just make a track that's really, really popular, it has to be on that high quality level. Your production has to be great. The last thing that I think really came together with this track and really worked was the brand cohesion with Fisher. Say what you want, if Fisher didn't produce this track or Chris Lake produced it or whoever everybody says produced this track. I've heard everybody say a million people produced this track. It's really cohesive with Fisher's brand. He came out and he started, doing like the Instagram stuff and kind of like making himself a personality of just like very high energy and exciting stuff. Every time you see Fisher, he's going to be like high energy. He's going to be probably yelling in your face. He's going to be telling you something exciting and it's going to be captivating. And so this track lines up really well with that. Think about what this track is. It's simple, it's in your face, and it's captivating. And so that's something to think about because it's like if you go on Instagram and start doing like what Fisher's Instagram is, for example, and then you start releasing like super dark minimal dub techno, it's gonna be kind of weird. Like it's not really gonna make sense because everybody's gonna know you as this like big party guy or whatever, and then you're gonna try to come out and it's just not really gonna line up. But if you say like, okay, I'm gonna be this big personality and then I'm gonna make these really big club records with that. There you go. It lines up really well. And so, maybe if you were to be a minimal dub techno producer or something like that, maybe the version of that would be like, okay, I am going to be this more introverted kind of quiet guy, but I'm still going to come out with like, I don't know, maybe you could do videos of you in the studio or you could do, just videos of you talking about like philosophy or being introverted or like something like that. You know what I mean? Like something that kind of lines up with what the music is telling you. Because if this doesn't work, like I said, say Fisher came on Instagram and it was just like, selfies of him or like, I don't know, it wasn't like what he already does, it wasn't so lining up with the energy and the fire that is present in his music. It just wouldn't really work. Like it wouldn't be so cohesive. So you need to think of the overall thing as a package. It's not just the music and it's not just the personality and it's not just whatever other things you may think it is. It's all of these things lining up together to make this one big package that people can just sink their teeth into and yeah, they can just bite into like that. Like think about how easy it is to become a Fisher fan, okay? All you have to do is you listen to Losing It, which is a really strong track. It's guaranteed to make you dance. Then, you go and check out his Instagram, and he's this high energy, fun guy that's exciting. And, you're captivated by that. And, like, it all comes together, Then all of a sudden it's like, wow, like, I really remember this. It's not hard to become a fan of him. This is what you need to think of. It's like, make it easy for people to become a fan of you. Don't make it like they have to do all this stuff. Again, there's so much music right now. Nobody is going to pay attention to something that requires extra effort. It's just the undeniable objective truth. You can either embrace it or you can reject it and, be stuck in the dust. But yeah, you really need to kind of make everything cohesive. And I'm not just saying like, do like Marshmello, make a character and then make your music a story of that character or something like that. Like, you don't have to do all that. And honestly, I think that's kind of played out. But just make sure that it's all together. Like, with me, for example, okay, I make kind of like darker, more introspective techno. It's a little bit more kind of like, I've got like existentialist themes in the vocal samples and I've got like these big epic trancey pads and leads and stuff like that. So I'm not coming out trying to be like Fisher. Now, to go with that, I have like the YouTube channel. I have like my sort of personality on social media, which is, really lining up with what I'm doing. And it's all cohesive. And I feel like it's easy to become a fan of me because you can check out my music, you can check out my videos, you can check out all this stuff, and it all lines up. And that's what you need to do as well. Again, like people think that it's so complicated, but it's like, it's just a matter of knowing the stuff. And truth is, knowing the stuff takes a long time. Like everything I've explained to you in this video, that's like my whole like 6 years of production took me to get to this point of understanding that. So I'm just trying to explain it to you guys. But yeah, so those are the main points. Make a simple track. Make it something that people are already ready to accept and it's not like too much of a stretch for them. Make sure it's just the best possible version of that you can make it. It has to be so high quality that it floors everybody that you play it for. And then make sure that it's all cohesive with your brand. And you could really win big, Again, it's not hard, but those 4 things lined up really, really well to make the success that is this track and that is Fisher's career. So that is it for this one, guys. I just wanted to make a video kind of explaining this stuff really in depth for you. Got a lot of requests to do more videos like this, so I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can check out my new remix of Losing It in the description. If you like techno, if you like Losing It, if you like hard acid stuff, this is the one for you. So link is in the description. Go check that out. Just premiered on Finger 86. It's a free download as well, so you can go cop that. If you want to support me, you can check out my sample packs in the description. Like I said, they're all super cheap. And if you want to get like a custom tutorial or lesson or something like that from me, I'll leave my email in the description as well, so hit me up for that. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.